Hello, everybody. So I am now live. So I'm really excited about today because we get to share with you how talking to people about the business really is simple. And sometimes, some people start the business, they just get going straight away. They do it on their enthusiasm. And to be honest, that is fine. One of the things I've learned from working with Ray Higdon is that, sometimes we can get bogged down with what do we say, how do we say it, who should we say it to? And, sometimes when we first join, if somebody just said to us, that video you watched and how excited you were about it, just share that with other people. And I've tried this dance and it works. But I know there are some of you that also, want some words and need to kind of learn the language. And there is a language and there is a way of doing it, just like any sales industry whatsoever. And there is a really great way of doing it. There's some things that you'll learn from this training that you'll be able to put into practice immediately. It will bring you back immediate results. But when I say immediate results, I'm not talking about someone will just say, yes, get me started. I mean, some people might, but I have spoken to tens of thousands of people and that maybe it's happened 3 times. So, it's just, this training is going to give you the information of what to say, how many people to say it to, how to go back to them, what happens if they ignore you, what happens if they come back and say they're too busy or what have you. We're going to give you the tools to do it confidently and also with a bit of posture. We're going to talk about posture. Now, let's talk about statistics first of all, because, there is kind of a number of people that you should speak to in order to get results. Now, this will differ from person to person, but what we found is this is kind of generally an average. And we like averages, don't we? We want to know the normal. And so if you've spoken to 100 people and you maybe have had 10 replies, you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm really rubbish at this, when actually you're not. It's all about statistics. So if you're working the business very part-time, then we would say we would recommend offering the business 15 to 25 new people weekly. So we would always aim, when we talk about pipeline, if you're brand new and you're watching this, then pipeline is simply the number of people that you have that have seen the business presentation and they're kind of, talking to you about it. So we kind of call them warm or hot, if you like. Pipeline isn't somebody that you showed the business presentation to 6 to 8 weeks ago, you haven't spoken to them since and they've ignored you. We're going to teach you how you won't really get many of those people in in your pipeline after we show you this training. It's pretty cool, huh? So full-time, if you're working the business full-time, say 50 to 75 new people offering the business to weekly. Always aim to have 35 people actively looking at your information any one time. So from that, if you are watching this and you have been in the business a while, maybe you haven't wanted to build a team, maybe now you do. Maybe you have wanted to build a team, but from looking at those statistics, you now think, okay, I just wasn't speaking to enough people. So you've got to think about whether your activity matches your goals. Because when we talk about cold market, that's people that maybe we come across, I don't know, we meet them at soft play with the kids, or we meet them, I don't know, it's whatever. Cold play is somebody that you kind of just come across. 1 in 20 will join. Warm market, 1 in 10 will join. So when some people start up and say, look, I don't mind telling people I don't know, but I don't want to tell people that I do know, that's absolutely fine. But just be logical is going to take a little bit longer. People buy from and people join people they know, like, and trust. Now, it doesn't mean that they need to know the ins and outs of your life. I don't mean that, but just like they feel like they know. Okay, so when we talk about building on social media, people are getting to know you. So that's fine. You're putting out there kind of what you are, who you are, what you stand for, that kind of thing. So it's fine that people use social media because people will get to know you through that as well. Now, there are some that are going to help you with what to say, which I have found these amazing. So you sit down to do your contacting calls, do your messages, whatever that might be, and you have a script there. And if you've got a reply to get back to, you can have a look on your script and think, oh, she said she had too much, she didn't have enough time on her hands. Let me just check these, that is still all right, because I just said it's unstable. 2 seconds. Okay, so I'm going to go in, hopefully you'll get it. So there are some scripts, you'll find them in the files on the Eagles community page, or if you are part of our Eagles website. If you're not and you want to be, please feel free to pop your upline a message, but they'll be in the documents and on the website as well. So the scripts are going to help you with the responses. They can make sure that you can answer objections well, because lots of people get really stuck. I can't tell you how many messages. Like, what would you say to this? What would you say to this? Well, these scripts really, really help with that. And they help you with questions to ask as well. So how you can kind of develop a further relationship with those people. Now, there is a formula that works. Now, it's not word for word that you should go away and you should just use what we're going to tell you word for word, because if you contact somebody that knows you well and you use words that you just would never use, it's not going to go down well. It's going to come across as spammy. So there are scripts, there are formulas, but you want to kind of make it you. You want it to come from your voice. So when you're ready to reach out to people, you want to make your first message enticing and friendly. And you should always start with this hey and their first name. So if you normally say, hey babes, or hey hun, or hey darling, or hey dude, or hey mate, or whatever, that's cool, but first name is really a great way of opening a message. So it's important to get their name in there so they know that you're talking to them specifically, but it's not kind of some spammy message. So it's quite personal. After that, get a connection point of excitement. So after your enticing first sentence, we'll talk about that a bit. Why you're messaging. So you want to get to the point, you know, and then obviously there's a bit of connection and excitement, and then you get to a question at the end. But in this message, what is really, really important is the first message that you send out, you do not send any links. You do not send any links. So that's super important. This is just a kind of offering message. And if you prefer to use audio, you absolutely can. If you prefer to type it out, that's absolutely fine too. Both have been shown just as effective. Voice messages are cool because they're kind of like, oh, why are they voice messaging me? So people tend to open them. But this is kind of a little example for that formula. So, hey, Emma. And this is a really good enticing first message, because think of all the messages you get, all the emails, all the texts, you know, we're all busy, we receive a lot of stuff, but what do you immediately see as you go through your inbox? It's that first sentence of the message, isn't it? And that'll be the main thing that just determines whether they read it or not. So think about this one. Hey, Emma, I almost didn't reach out to you, but decided why not? I just didn't want you to think it was a spammy message or anything, but I was wondering if you were open to learning about how you could earn an extra stream of income if it didn't interfere with what you're already doing. Absolutely no problem if not. Looking forward to hearing back from you either way. And then a question. All right, so let's go through that message a little bit. So you've got an enticing first message, which is, I almost didn't reach out to you. And if you see that line, you're like, oh, so why are they? I want to know. So they're going to read the message, I would say. So I almost didn't reach out to you, but then decided why not? Just didn't want you to think it was a spammy message, or I know you're super busy, so I wasn't sure if you get time to read it, but yeah. So you can change that around. This is just one example, but there's you know, there's a load of things. Remember, we're all so busy that we prejudge messages based on that first sentence. So if it's anything generic like, hey, I can see we have mutual friends, let's connect, or something just as kind of vague and impersonal, then people will think it's just spam. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to be that guy. So I almost didn't reach out to you, but I decided why not? I just know that you're really busy with the kids, or I know that you're busy with your job, or I know that you're commuting lots, or whatever. you know. But I was wondering if you were open. Open is a good word because nobody wants to think of themselves as closed. So it's a good word to kind of get people to say, yeah, you know, I'm open. So, but I was wondering if you were open to learning about how you could earn an extra stream of income if it didn't interfere with what you're already doing. Another way of saying around your full-time commitments, around your current commitments. I just like those words more. Absolutely no problems if not. Now, this is really important because you want to give them an out. So most people are messaging people thinking, I want them to say yes. I want them to say yes to a 5-minute link. I want them to get back to me. I don't want to be ignored. And that's fine, but that doesn't work in our industry. So, you know, more people than not will not want to do what you want to do. They might want to be a customer and they might want to try some of your products. But, you know, the averages are, you know, 1 in 10 warm people will join. So get ready for 9 no's. And it might be that you have to speak to 100 people to get 90 no's and 10 yeses. And the 90 no's might come first. So just be aware that you might get 90 no's before you get 10 yeses, okay? You've got to be all right with that. And what you want to do is get through them as quick as possible. Like, you want them to say no then, so you can move on to the next person. Cross them off your list for that time period. You'll get back to them in, 3 to 6 months or whatever. But you want to get them to a decision. You don't want them just hanging around there on your activity tracker, just, you know, floating in the air of not replying. You want to get them to a decision so you can either write them off or write them in, okay? So, and then a question on the end. So, for example, Emma, I used to go CrossFit with her. So are you doing CrossFit like we used to? A lot. It's just a question to engage them into conversation. So let's have a look. Again, text or audio is absolutely fine, whichever you prefer. Not a problem at all. Oh, another rule before I go on, another rule that I should tell you about is do not use exclamation marks or emojis in that message. I know, weird, huh? I don't even know why this is a rule, but they say that you'll lose 10 to 20% of people that you could have recruited if you're doing that, because they say that it takes away your personal power. So you want to come across as someone who takes their business seriously and is a professional. And that is not sending emojis, exclamation marks when you're prospecting, when you're offering a business opportunity. So there we go. Bit of a tip from Ray. So I also want to take you through this 4-question formula, because if you're speaking to people, maybe that you haven't spoken to in a while, maybe that you don't know, maybe that you've, I don't know, been part of some Facebook groups, you made friends with people, you're getting to know them. Here's like a 4-question formula that you can use to lead people to where you want them to go. So if you're the kind of person, like, I can't teach you how to build rapport. You're like, I just want to kind of message them first and build some rapport. Well, I personally think that is not something that's duplicatable. But I can't give you my personality. You can't give me your personality. So, and I've had loads of people in my time in network marketing ask me, so what should I say? And if someone, I mean, honestly, as simple as, and you might be one of these people, so you might be like, yeah, that's totally me. So someone replies to you saying, hey, yeah, I'm good, struggling a bit with the kids, but you know, work is good, everything's all right, how's things with you? And then someone will message me a screenshot of that and say, Em, how should I reply to this message? Now, to me, that seems logical, like, oh, you know, oh, so how many kids do you have? Or, oh, tell me about it. I struggle with one. How on earth do you cope? How are you coping for childcare around working as well? I know you love your job. I know you love your job, don't you? Or, you know, you must really love your job to be, I don't know, you know, juggling all of that. So I know how to reply to that because I'm a good, like, conversationalist. Not everybody is the same. Some people are so much better than I am, and some people just can't do it. So I want to give you something that is duplicatable. Everybody can do it. Here's 4 questions that can lead. But what I would say, a bit of a disclaimer on this, is don't make it sound like an interrogation. Like, you have to have a conversation. You've got to be casual about it, you know, and see where it flows to. So these are good 4 questions to lead people where you want them to go. What is it that you do? How long have you been doing that for? You must love it, huh? Or you've got to love what you do, right? Or whatever, however you want to word that, but you must love it, huh? Have you ever considered something else? So what you do is a great first question, because then you can create the conversation using like a logical flow. So focus on building rapport, then getting them where you want them to go. And it could look something like this. So what do you do? Then I'm in real estate. And you, oh, that's awesome. How long have you been doing that for? And then about 10 years now. You, wow, you must love it, huh? And then they're going to say either, no, I hate it, or oh, I'm fed up with it, or it pays the bills, I guess, or whatever. And then that would be a nice, easy way for you to then say, well, that doesn't sound like much fun. Have you ever considered looking at something else? And if they say, well, I haven't really thought about it, or oh, I've been doing this so long, I don't know what else to do, or yeah, I looked a few years ago, but I'd have to retrain, or, and then you can say like, well, if I could show you another way to building up, that extra, another stream of income to maybe replace that one, would you be open to looking at some information? Yeah, just nice and easy. See, seems easy when you say it out loud, doesn't it? Okay. But I'm going to talk to you also about posture. I said this at the beginning. It's really important, posture. Lots of people don't really know what it is, or, they already have it naturally, or they really don't have it naturally. And I think it's just good to be aware of it. So posture, I honestly believe, is a really critical ingredient for social media marketing. And it's posture. It's something that Ray Higdon, Jessica Higdon, that they teach avidly. So all of this information I got from their book, Freakishly Effective Social Media. Hold on, I'm going to get the book. Freakishly, no, that's not it. Freakishly Effective Social Media for Network Marketers, I think it's called. And I'll find it in a second. But they talk about posture in that book, and it was something that I hadn't really thought about talking about within a kind of recruitment training, but it is really important. I know it's important because it makes a massive difference to me and how I speak about the business. So it's a critical ingredient. Posture is the belief in what you have and how you represent yourself to others, regardless of external acceptance or approval. So what I mean by that, and what is explained in the book, which is called, by the way, Freakishly Effective Social Media for Network Marketing by Ray and Jessica Higdon. What I mean by that is posture is the belief in what you're doing. So it's the belief in our industry, it's the belief in your company forever, it's the belief in, what you're doing and how you represent yourself to others. So if you're being meek and mild about what you're doing, I mean, you don't have to be out there and brash. I don't mean that. Actually, I kind of mean the opposite. I think quietly confident is fantastic. It's kind of a mix between the two. And that will come across in how you represent yourself to others. And regardless of whether, your parents, your family, your friends, the people you come across, like what you do or not. Because, I can kind of take this back to me being a police officer. When I was a police officer, I came across quite a few people, that when you said you were a police officer, had a really bad view. Seriously, like they were disgusted with the police. They had had a bad experience. They thought all police were corrupt, or they thought that you really didn't work hard, or whatever. Like they had an opinion. And remember, the public purse is not paying for network marketing professionals. The public purse pays for police officers. So it's like everybody thinks they have the right to have an opinion because you're a public servant. And so I came across it a lot. And, my response to anyone with that was always like, well, everyone's entitled to their opinions, or, well, not everyone's bad. And I would just walk off. I was confident that in what I was doing, I knew I was doing a good job. I knew I was doing everything to the best of my ability. So I didn't care. And so why is network marketing any different? It's not. It's no different. And no matter what industry you're in, I bet somebody has an opinion on it, or somebody has given you an opinion before. It's just kind of what it is. And in my head, when they were saying it about police, I used to be answering in my head in kind of a cocky way and thought, well, I bet if you get burgled tonight, who's the first person you're going to ring? Yeah, us. And who's going to come running, risking our lives? Oh yeah, us. But you think we're rubbish. So I used to think that in my head, but I never used to say it out loud. I used to think, well, that's cool. Like, everyone has their opinions. I do my best, and hopefully that's good enough. And I would just be that would just be the way I was. So just something along the lines, if someone says your opportunity is a pyramid scheme, or they say it's a scam, or they say I don't like that pyramid selling, or whatever, like, so what? I would just answer with, yeah, that's totally cool. It is network marketing and I love it, but it's certainly not for everyone. Anyway, I've got to go. Best of luck to you. I'm not bothered in spending my time listening or arguing a corner with people. I don't really care if they believe in it or not. I didn't really care if people liked the police or not. I was doing a great job and I was given 100%. It really didn't matter. And yeah, another response is, yeah, it's certainly not a fit for everyone. Well, let me know if you know anyone that does want to make some extra money. Anyway, I've got to go. I've got another meeting, but good luck to you. So you don't have to hang around. You don't have to hang around in that space. You want to be postured. You're confident and positive about what it is that you're doing and the industry that you're a part of. Oh, I'm super proud to be doing what I do. So yeah, have that posture about you. Now, when you're talking about recruiting, lots of people stall at the final bit, I guess, and they are scared of closing. So closing is when what people think, getting people signed up, but closing doesn't have to be pushy. Think of closing as you're simply helping them come to a decision. That's all you're doing. You're helping them come to a decision. You're not being pushy. You want to either wipe them off your list or write them into your list. So you can say, sorry, I've left those things on. I've got the wrong slide there. Oh, sorry, ignore me. Mindset matters when you're coming to closing, when you're helping people come to a decision. It's super important. But what I want you to be familiar with, and I don't want to push on the no so much, but think about it. If I'm telling you 1 in 10 people will join you, that means you're going to get 9 no's. So I do want you to be prepared. I want you to start getting used to the word no, and I want you to think about it logically. Like, you're going to have to hear no's. And this is an amazing book. It really, really changed my opinion of how I was talking to people about the business, how much I did of it, definitely, and certainly the spirit in which I did it. I would recommend everybody read this book. It's Go for No, Network Marketing, for network marketing, and it is a fantastic, fantastic book. So I would recommend everybody read this book because it massively changed my mindset on going for no's. So I've got these slides mixed up. I do apologize. Okay, no, I'll hang on this slide and I'll just talk to you a little bit more because I thought I had another slide with it and I don't. But what I want to talk to you about is the kind of getting to that no. Like, a lot of people do make the closing part complicated. The reality is some will say yes, some will say no, but there's no need to complicate it beyond that. And the saying that if you don't ask, you don't get is really right. But you remember that some people are just not going to want to do what you're doing. I should say as well that we're not talking about being aggressive or pushy. We're not talking about getting someone to do something they don't want to do against their best interest. We are getting somebody to do something they do want to do in their best interest. Switch it around, make sure that you're just helping somebody come to a decision. All right. They associate closing or recruiting someone with being pushy. And I hear it all the time. I just don't want to be pushy. Well, you're not being pushy. It's just helping the person come to a decision. And closing is all in the mindset. Some of you may have been through it where you're telling yourself before you're speaking to people, after they've seen the presentation, you're telling yourself, oh, you know, they won't have the money, they're not into sales, they don't have time, they don't like network marketing, and you just feel rubbish before you're going to speak to them after they've seen the presentation to find out what they think, answer any questions. It's a strange thing, but probably something to do with your posture, your own conviction. But when you know that, when you've been in that mindset, when you've been talking to people, yeah, people don't want to join. They have got all those objections. But you know, this has happened to me, and I've done it before, and it's also in the book that you know, by Ray and Jess, that Freakishly Effective Social Media for Network Marketers. It's in there as well that Jessica had it. She used to have the mindset of, oh, they just won't want to join, or they won't want to do this, or they won't want to do that. But actually, when you turn that mindset around to, they're going to absolutely love this. You know, it's going to be right up their street. They're going to be ready to get going straight away. They're going to be so excited. They're going to be raring to get started. It's a totally different conversation that you have, and a totally different outcome. So your mindset when you're closing is really, really important. Now, bear with me, but this might seem really strange to you, but I want to kind of change your mindset to go for no's. Just like the book says, you know, you actually want to go for no's. Now, I promise you, and you'll probably understand this, especially if you're a figures person, but if you're going for 20 no's a day, and you do that for 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, I'm telling you, and I will guarantee you, and I will put my life savings on it, that you will be incredibly successful. If you went for 20 no's a day, you would be successful. You're always looking for the no's, because statistics show most people are going to say no. You know, I know that the ego likes to hear yes. I know that the ego wants to think, well, you know, I want everybody to say yes and to join me, but that is just not reality. So if we're looking for the no's, because statistics show most people are going to say no, well, then that's going to have massive progress within your business. Go and gather the no's, get as many no's as you can. Ray Higdon had a DMO of 20 no's a day, because that's huge activity, you know. But if you can go for 5 no's a day, the more you get, the closer you are to getting the yes. And that is a fact. So I want you to read that Go for No Network Marketing Edition. You can get it on Amazon. It's absolutely amazing. And I know that the no, you know, I know that it can sometimes be taken personally, but it really isn't. You know, you want to give people such a big out that they don't find it hard to say no. You can then strike them off your list and you can go on to the next. You kind of got to remove that being weak about it, I guess, or being taking things personally. Like, this is just a business. If part of being a police officer was that I had to go around and say, Dad, do you want to be a police officer? No thanks. Kai, do you want to be a police officer? No thanks. My friend Lise, do you want to be a police officer? No thanks. My auntie Angela, do you want to be a police officer? No thanks. Would I take that personally? No, I wouldn't take it personally. And this is exactly the same. So we've got to just keep the right kind of mindset about it. You're not thinking right today if you're thinking, I'm going to speak to 10 people, or I'm going to send 10 messages, and I can't wait to get a yes. I want someone to reply and say yes to a 5-minute link. You're doing 10 messages to get as many no's as you can. See, change it around. You're doing 10 messages to get as many no's as you can. Now, how many times, and I'll tell you why I think we should do that. How many times have you done 3 messages, let's say, the second person replies with a yes, and then you're so consumed and excited by the yes that you don't do any more offers that day? You're like, oh my God, they replied. Now I'm going to send them the link. Now I'm going to offer them the business presentation. Oh my God, wait until just half an hour now until they see the link, and then I'm going to, call them, and then they go, do you know what, this is not for me, or do you know what, I just don't have time for it. And then you're like, oh. See, if you would have done those other offers, that would have been one of your no's, which is great, but somebody in those other offers would have said yes. And you're just getting them through them quicker. Because, I know I've had it so many times where people go, oh my gosh, I messaged 10 people, I've got 7 replies, I've got 5, 5-minute links out. I'm so excited. They're messaging their upline to tell them, they're posting on the page, they're doing a live to say, oh, how amazing, this is the message I use to message 10 people. But the reality is it's all in the numbers. So we can message 10 and have some great results and it makes us excited. But what about when, lots of people start saying no then and you've only asked 10? So think about it logically in terms of numbers, Think about getting the no's, because that puts you in a completely different headspace. It takes the pressure off you. Be excited about it, be in a great mindset, but you've got to get through the numbers. Now, once somebody says, yes, I want to find out some more information, what do we do from there? Well, excuse me, a bit of water. So we send out the short link first. We follow that business cycle of offering the business, not sending a link. When they say yes to finding out a bit of information, we send, I think they're 2-minute links mainly, but we call them still 5-minute links. They used to be 5 minutes. You can have a look. Under Unit 4 on the Units tab in the Eagles community page, you can see those links and you can pick which one would resonate best with the person you're sending it to. So I have named them in terms of background. So Lise there has got, police detective, and she was about to go on to maternity. Mine will say police officer, about to go on to maternity. Kyle's would say ex-police officer turned graphic designer, not about to go on to maternity. I can't think about it. Lucy has insurance and mum. So yeah, just go on there and find one that you think would resonate best, but it's got to be one of the short ones, okay? So it's got to be one of those ones with the background on. You'll find them on the Eagles team page. You'll also find them on the Eagles website and links to send to prospects. But yeah, on the Eagles page under Unit 4, you can just copy and paste the link and send that as a 5-minute link, let's say, or the first introduction. Now, when I send that message, I would always say something along the lines of, here's a really short link for you to watch. As soon as you've seen it, I'll send you over the longer presentation that explains everything thoroughly. And then I would ask them another question based on what information they've given me back. So if they say, yeah, oh, that was good. And in the previous message, they said something about their job or their children. I would ask them another question about that to keep them in conversation. And then, of course, when they come back to you and say, yeah, I want to see the business presentation, I would always message them back at that point and say, sure, I'll pop it over to you. It's 30 minutes long. What's the soonest? Gosh, it's gone out of my head.
You watched it.
Oh. Gosh, that's so annoying. My mind's completely gone blank. So I would send it over and I would say, start again. Send it over and I would say, I'll send you over a 30-minute presentation that explains everything thoroughly. When's the soonest you can watch it? That doesn't sound right English, but you know what I mean. So when's the quickest you can watch it, or when's the soonest you can watch it, or when will you have time to watch it? Or if you say when's the soonest time you can watch it, then it's kind of just saying, like, be quick, watch the presentation. When they come back and they say, oh, I'll watch it tonight when the kids are in bed, I'd say, fantastic. Here's my telephone number. And I will go with giving them the number because it's much better. Oh, here we go. It's much better to get them on the phone straight after they've seen the business presentation. You can answer any questions. You can get them registered. I'll show you how to do that. I'll tell you what I say on the phone shortly. So when you send in links, when they come back and say, yes, I'd be interested in learning more. So that's great. I'll pop you over a quick video to watch. As soon as you've seen it, I can send you a longer presentation that explains everything thoroughly. Either answer a question they may have asked or ask a question, but keep the conversation going. Now, what if they ignore you at this stage? So what if you have, offered the video or offered them to earn extra income and they've not replied, what would you say? Well, you say something like, after, I don't know, between 2 to 4 days, I'd say, hey, Em, hope you're good. Sorry I haven't followed up since we last spoke. I've been busy getting some new team members started. Not sure if you've been busy or whether it's just not the right time for you. Let me know if so, and I can cross you off my list. Either way, it'd be good to hear from you. Have a great day. See how you're going for the no. Yeah, so let me know either way, but I can cross you off my list. So after you have offered them a chance to earn extra income, they haven't replied, or you've sent the 5-minute link and they haven't replied, that is a great message to send. So you're saying like, just let me know either way, I can just cross you off my list, it's no problem. Nice and simple, but takes the pressure off. And then you've got no worries, thanks. If they say no, cross me off your list, that's fine. You can say no worries, thanks for letting me know. If you know of anybody who would be open to earning 200 to 2,000, that should be, plus per month flexibly around their existing commitments, let me know and I'd be happy to show them how. Have a great week if you message them on a Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. Have a great weekend if you message them on the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever. See, so it's nice and simple, takes the onus off. We're going for no, so it makes it more comfortable. You're like, yeah, just get me to a final decision. So I hope you're good. I'm really sorry I haven't followed up. I've been getting some new team members started, or I've been busy with the team. I'm not sure if you've been busy or whether it just isn't the right time for you. But let me know if so, and I can cross you off my list. Either way, it'd be good to hear from you. Have a great day. Yeah. They could come back and say, oh, I'm so sorry, I just got really busy. Like, yeah, I'm gonna watch it. There we go. If they say yes, then obviously we then want to send the business presentation, so the longer presentation. So I'll send you over the presentation. It's 30 minutes long. When would be this? There we go. When would be the soonest you could watch it? Just needed to click on my slides, didn't I? So I'll send you over the presentation. It's 30 minutes long. When would be the soonest you could watch it? And they say 8 p.m. tonight once the kids are in bed. You say, that's great. Here's my mobile number. And I haven't finished typing, I do apologise. Pop me a message. So, oh, yeah, it didn't show up when I do that. See that? Pop me a message so I have yours. We can chat after you've seen it and I can answer any questions. Don't worry. If this is someone that you don't really know, I mean, not like your friends or anything, but someone maybe you don't have their message, kind of call out the elephant in the room. Some people are a bit funny about giving over their telephone number. So I always just make a joke of it. I just say like, don't worry, I'm not going to spam you or anything. I'm way too busy with the kids. Lol. Yeah, so I just want to make them comfortable with having my number and me having their number. And then I might say like, you know, is it a good time to chat after you watch it tonight, or would tomorrow be better, or whatever. Okay, so I don't ever worry about giving over my telephone number. I don't worry about them giving me theirs. I just kind of give them a funny out, you know. So we can have a chat after you've seen it and I can answer any questions if you have any. Don't worry, I'm not going to spam you or anything. I'm way too busy with the kids. Okay. And then after the BP, if they don't reply, you can give it a few days and say, hey, did you watch the presentation? Like, get to it. You know, this is a business, you're running a business. Hey, did you watch the presentation? Or another follow-up, hey, hope you're good. Sorry I haven't followed up since we last spoke. I've been busy getting some new team members started. I'm not sure if you've been busy or whether it isn't the right time for you, but let me know if so, and I can cross you off my list. Either way, it'd be good to hear from you. Have a great day. So that will be after they've watched the BP. You can simply pop them across that message. So it's nice and simple. Leave it on this, you can screenshot it or whatever, but it is in the script too. Now, lots of people are scared about getting people on the phone, and I can completely relate. I don't like the phone until I'm on it, because then when I'm on it, I know what works. I know that once I start to talk to people, I just get in network marketing mode. I know what to say to people. I always ask them about themselves. I always turn everything back to them, and you know, I'm comfortable on it once I'm on it. The thought of doing it is so much worse than when I actually get on the phone. But once I do, I actually really enjoy it. So when you're first getting on a phone call, the first thing you want to do is make people feel comfortable. So, hey, it's only me, how are you? Because you've arranged to ring at that time, they'll know it's you. Like, hey, it's only me, how are you? How's your night been? Or how was work after? Or how was your commute today? Did you manage to get all the kids in bed then? You know, to get on the phone with you? Or how did your day go? You know, something natural that they can just answer with, yes, thank God they're all in bed. I'm like, gosh, how did you manage that? 3 of them all in bed for 8 o'clock. You're a super mum. You know, just something to start talking, but to definitely go for that kind of more natural approach. And then I will always ask, you know, so, I would say kind of so it gets down to business. So you watched the presentation, what was your favorite bit? And I always say it in that tone as well, in that exact same tone. And if you are listening and you joined my team after a phone call, you'll know this is exactly what I said. So you watched the presentation, what was your favorite bit? And they say, well, you know, I really like the car plan part, you know, my car's dying right now, or I need 4 new tires or whatever. And then I will relate to them because, you know, I did look at the car plan part and think, oh my gosh, like imagine being able to afford a new car. I had to de-ice my car on the inside in the winters. So I was very, very, very happy when I saw car plan. So, yeah, so you would kind of relate to them, and I would say something like, yeah, me too, it's great. And well, that'd be a big stress off your mind, I bet, wouldn't it? Being able to either buy a new car or, you know, get a brand new car and do the monthly payments. Would that make a big difference to you? And they'll go, oh, yeah, it's the bane of my life. And you say, oh yeah, definitely, you know, so they say something along the lines, oh yeah, we've had this car for 12 years or whatever. And you say, and you have to do the commute in that? And they say, yes, I have to do the commute in that. And then, you know, I never know when I'm going to get to work. This is just an example of conversation that you might have. And then I would say, right, well, sounds like you're really ready for the next step then. You ready to get started? And then they would either say yes or no. So I would say, yes, you know, I want to get my pack ordered, or yes, what's the next step? And I said, well, we just simply get your pack ordered. I'll send you a link to fill out and your box will be with you in a couple of days. I can add you to the team pages, and, you know, there's a simple kind of 4-step process to get you started. And they say, yeah, great, let's do that then. I say, okay, cool. I'll send you the link, message me when you've completed it. I'll look out for the email, and then as soon as you've done that, I'll add you to the page. Will you be able to do that now? And they say, yeah, I'll do it now. And I say, cool. So let me know as soon as it's done, and I'll add you to the pages, and you can kind of see and sort of meet the team. And that's it. So conversations are actually really simple when you know how to guide them in. Yeah. So once you know how to get on the phone, what to do on the phone, how you can divert or take the conversation in your way. So you lead that conversation. But you know, it's actually really simple. I think the biggest part of this training, or biggest thing you should take away, is that you're not hunting out, you're not a hunter, you're not hunting out the yeses. You're simply following a process of offering people a business opportunity. You want to find out whether yes, it's for them, or no, it's not. And that is it. And the quicker you come to those decisions, or you get them to those decisions, the better it's going to be for you. So I hope you found that useful. I hope there were some nuggets in there that you can keep using this over and over and over again. And you can use it, we know, when you're doing your messages. And also there's going to be, and there should be, hopefully by the time everyone watches this, if they're not watching it live, then there will be scripts in the files on the Eagles community page, and also in the documents on the Eagles website. So whichever one you use, or if you use both, you can pick where you get that from. Remember the 2 books that I recommended: Freakishly Effective Social Media for Network Marketing by Ray and Jessica Higdon, and also Go for No for Network Marketers by Ray Higdon. I always type in Ray Higdon. Make sure you get those books. They are absolutely amazing. Hope that has helped, and hope that helps you to start building your team and to let go of the outcome and just be excited about sharing your opportunity.